I've been really tuning in lately, or becoming more aware of the fact that reality, in the concept of reality as consciousness, as the ancients have also said, is true. But yet simultaneously, everything is real and nothing is real, because all that exists is consciousness. So starting from that, what I would say truth, I would say coming from that would be the law of creation and destruction and rebirth, and the law of cause and effect. So this is really what the multiverse is based on. But I want to focus on this particular cosmic universe that we are currently incarnating in at this level. This is a highly advanced virtual reality. In fact, what we do here as humans at this dimensional level, when we create video games, when we, create D&D role-playing games or cosplay, when we create theater and dance and movies and music, we're really doing at this level what we're doing in other dimensional levels by being here at all. And what I mean by that is, as I've said in other videos, for some of us this place is a playground, and others it is a prison. I also want to go on to say that for the consciousness that comes from source or the all. Now, everything is contained within the all, the entire multiverse. And technically speaking, all consciousness is consciousness, whether it is artificial or not. But there is a distinction, just like there is a distinction between those who have different origin points. So what I mean by that is there is a distinction between the origin point of a soul, which is a expression or fractulation of the all, versus the all itself. So even though we are all contained within the all, within this source consciousness, this Brahman, this frequency, although we are contained within that, we still have different origin points as souls. And not everybody is, the same type of soul. And I do talk about different soul types on my Vimeo channel, and I also mentioned at my old YouTube channel before I did this revamp. So I will probably revisit that from a different angle in the future as well, for those of you who are not familiar with that concept. But I say all this to say that I don't mean to say that if something is artificial, it should be treated differently or less than, okay? So everything is consciousness, therefore everything has a level of sentience to a degree. And it's really the all experiencing itself subjectively through various different forms. But if we break it down to a more finite perspective, for example, us incarnating at this level in our soul journey from the point of autonomous fractulation, or the point when we, broke away as, an oversoul, and then further fragmented into soul family, and then further fragmented individual souls, and then further fractuated after that to include what people might term twin flames or divine counterparts. Okay? So I digress. I don't really want to go down that road in this particular video. But the point is that while we're down here, we are experiencing a virtual reality. This is not the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is consciousness and that full awareness, okay? But this is a reality. It is a virtual, highly advanced, constructed reality. Constructed by many of who I would call the originals or the primordials. Some people might call them blueprinters and programmers. And to be honest, I have found there is a difference. And the difference being is that if you're primordial, you're from the first races or the first collective to emanate out of, the all as far as when the all expanded out, at least in this cycle. Whereas a blueprinter can be any soul that has participated in the creation of any realm. I will say, though, that a lot of the originals or the primordials are also blueprinters and programmers, which is why at this level I've noticed that many people that are primordial are actually shit with technology. I'm not saying all are. I'm not saying that if, everyone who's shit with technology is a primordial or that anyone who isn't is not. But by and large, that's the case. The reason being is we contain cheat codes within our DNA. We can actually bend, I call us reality benders. We can actually bend reality to our will more so than other beings here. Why? Because we were the ones that created this place. There have been successive experiments that have gone on here, Atlantis being one of them. And it's funny, when I was really tapping in, I had never heard that there was someone who put out this concept already. I guess it's part of the, Gaia channel or some shit. I don't know. I don't watch that, so I don't really know what it is. And if I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, although I am someone that enjoys books, I'm not somebody that gets my information from books. I'm somebody that uses books to collaborate information that I find within my own records. So that's why I came across that concept. And so I went outside of myself to research it, to collaborate, or to confirm outside of myself what I already knew, and to see if other folks had come across the same information. So there has been a knowing of this for some time, okay? Now, these experiments occurred because we were really trying to put ourselves down here fully in this reality, fully activated, but it caused a lot of glitches and issues, and we became very destructive, quote unquote. And I say quote unquote because that's really relative, isn't it? Because if we're down here in a virtual reality, then it's a virtual reality. The other thing is that people don't understand, and this is something I want to say is different than how when we would play a virtual reality game here at this level, or maybe it's not, is that when we do things in a virtual reality, there's not a consequence. If we do things here, there is. Because it's recorded in our souls. It's recorded in our unconscious. It's recorded in our records. That means it influences us at a soul level. It shapes us. Our experiences shape us. Now, we also alternatively can go into our soul records and alter things. We can also heal. We can break generational curses. We can do trauma healing and things of that nature. But there are things that leave soul scars until they're addressed and healed. And that's just a fact. And who knows, like I mentioned briefly a second ago, maybe, it's the same thing when we have video games here. They're conscious at some level within that video game, that AI. Who knows? It's kind of like that movie they made recently with Ryan Reynolds. I can't remember the name of it, where he became conscious in a video game. He was already a part of that game. He already had a life. Okay? He just couldn't remember. He was being killed over and over again and brought back, but he had a life. He was an artificial consciousness. And he became sentient and self-aware. So this is going back to what I was saying about how all consciousness is consciousness, whether it's artificial or not. And the thing I want to mention about that is, we are still responsible for what we do in various dimensions. We're responsible for what we do in the astral, for example. A lot of people go there and they think, I'm going to go there and I'm going to kill a bunch of people, knock down buildings, do all this shit. I mean, if you want to create your own realm and do that, great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't experiment and, explore things. I'm just saying be aware that there are consequences because of the law of cause and effect. I'm not saying it's good or bad or right or wrong. I'm just saying be aware that there are consequences to your actions. So I want to go back to the general concept and circle us back around to the point of this video. So the virtual reality system that we're in, why did we create it? Well, to experience. To experience what it's like to incarnate here. And really, this whole universal A construct is a construct. It is an artificial system. It's sentient and it's conscious, but it's technically artificial because it was technically created by consciousness. So those of us who are blueprinters and programmers, going back to what I was saying earlier, we have cheat codes at this level. We're aware that this is a game. We're aware that there are also, there are also programs and souls that try to hijack the game and have in the past. And we are aware that there are resets, reboots, and upgrades, just like with any software. So, for example, we try out an experiment, and if it's bunk, we destroy, and then we try out something else, and we sort of learn as we go. This is coming from the more virtual reality perspective. We can insert ourselves into it, and even if we're not fully if we're not fully in the virtual reality incarnating, we can still partially project ourselves in as guides and soul family and even ancestors to help guide the people that are in here. So it's kind of like a digital aspect of self being projected in. So we're not fully incarnated in here where we are fully immersed in the reality and often, think it's all there is unless we wake up. It's not like that, but we can, not go all the way in. We're partially there. We're projecting in to help. And that's what I've seen when I've looked into people's records, is that most of the time when you see these beings, you see them behind this, it's almost like a high-tech screen, a high-level text screen with all these codes, these light codes. And that's where the concept of light codes comes from. The reason they're downloaded is because we're in a virtual fucking reality. So, of course, they're downloaded just like you download anything else. So people just use the word download and light codes without really thinking about what that means. It means that as long as we're in this virtual reality and we're immersed in it, we can receive downloads. We can receive upgrades, right? So that's what these codes do for us. So when people are like, oh, my soul family or my spirit guides or gods, goddesses, or aliens are sending me, light codes, trust me, it's your family on the other side either way. They're sending it to you. They're helping you so that you are on the correct path that you set for yourself when you came down here. So you fulfill what you want to fulfill down here. And some of us are here with very serious missions, and others are here basically, to experience. And some people are down here, kind of like, it's kind of like a sentence, or they get stuck. They get stuck here. They can't pull themselves out, or we can't unplug them on the other side. So we just have to wait for them to figure it out. And then we try to send codes and we try to send messages, and sometimes they just become more and more dense, deeper and deeper in levels and levels of a dream within a dream, right? And this is another reason why a lot of the so-called elite are trying to create these, elaborate virtual reality systems and transhumanism and, uploading consciousness and all this shit, is because they really want to create their own world within a world that they have complete dominion over. They've already tried to have complete dominion over this one. So they want to have one where they have complete dominion over it. It's what they've become obsessed with while they were in the game. They like the power. And so there are also different soul collectives on the other side. And what I kind of believe is the womb or the void is not what we think. I really feel like we pass through it. We pass through it to get here. For those of us that are the originals. So again, this is something that's been coming to me lately. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt at this point. Because I receive certain downloads and then I vet them out. And I wait for them to sort of make sense and wait for further information for clarification. At the end of the day, though, this is a game. And a lot of people have gotten lost in the duality polarity, which is just an energy polarity. It's just to make it more interesting and so we can learn. So it's not about right and wrong, good or bad. It's about experience and growth as a soul, going up and down the spiral. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So I just wanted to share some of the information I promised several of you I would be sharing. So take what resonates, leave the rest. Take care and stay tuned for more videos.